when you have something that starts with technology, as it becomes easier, more accessible, more commoditized, it gets cheaper. So the prices get driven down and that sort of thing. So we've tried to find ways to set ourselves apart. We're very good at doing the commoditized portion of eDiscovery, but we've tried to find ways to set ourselves apart and make us marketable for those weird situations, if that makes sense. I'll give a little bit of background on John Myers, the owner and CEO and founder of Chorus Consulting. We did a pretty cool collection and analysis for a trucking company who was getting sued by a lot of their 1099 employees for overtime hours. Even though they were 1099, they were saying they were being overworked, underpaid, that type of thing. And this company had an old legacy accounting system that had been tweaked and added to, and the IT folks couldn't even understand how to get in it and pull out the data for their legal department and their outside counsel. So John was able to go have a couple of meetings with them, understood how to get in there. They gave him access, and he was able to go in and figure out how to pull out all the information out of that old legacy added to hodgepodge database that even their internal IT people that had been there forever and had been running the system couldn't figure out how to do. So John's just really good at taking a problem and solving it because he has experience with almost all the old legacy stuff, and he's kept up with the new stuff. We also do a lot of work underneath a lot of large eDiscovery companies out there that do some forensic investigation and do some collection work, but they will lean on us to do some of the heavy lifting underneath them. Forensic data collection and eDiscovery, everybody does, right? Everybody in our industry can have the same 2-minute elevator speech. I think you have to separate yourself. And one of the things we've done recently was on the Jimi Hendrix estate case. We had a situation where family members, when you're dealing with an estate and emotions and families and lots of dollars, some people were making money off of Jimi Hendrix's name illegally against the agreement and had deleted stuff off of their cell phones and said that they hadn't had text messages and conversations. And so we were able to go in and prove that on their cell phones, they did delete information. We know exactly what software they used to wipe the phones. And then using some deeper dive technology, we were able to go in and get information off the phone that proved, they were deleting text messages. So text messages that were supposed to be wiped, we went in and found a few that were kind of a hot button issue and really helped our side of that case. So that's a pretty interesting one when you're dealing with a high publicity type name like that. It's always kind of cool to work on a case like that. Well, one of the things that is really important for today's world with the coronavirus and the shutdown and the sequestering and all that stuff going on is everybody now has come out with their spiel that we can do things remotely. And it's one thing to say you can, it's another thing to be able to prove that you've done it. So we had a large oil and gas company that worldwide oil and gas company that needed data collected in 92 cities across the globe. So not just a local problem. Cell phones, social media accounts, laptops, desktops, all kinds of information, servers all across the world. So we were able to, without having to deploy anybody, no flights, no hotels, and all that cost that goes with that, we were able to take all those cities and do that data collection. Over 3 terabytes of data ended up being collected culled down and done pretty quickly, well within the timeline that they were asking for. So one of the things we pride ourselves on is saying, all right, let's figure this out. And we're able to take what could have been, a bill in the hundreds of thousands, and we're able to save probably 80 to 90% of what the costs would have been had we been deployed and hiring people and going on site and doing everything in person. So the ability to stay within the laws and parameters of all the different countries and locations, and then get the data collected, was something that John just figured out. It's interesting. It's changed and morphed a lot. So it's allowed me to take what used to be a pretty, well, back then it was a complicated process, but making photocopies of documents and then getting them to all the proper people was very physical, and it was demanding. I'm pushing a dolly in the heat and loading trucks, and so it wasn't just a sales job. But as technology started taking over and the boxes of paper started to dwindle to more scanning and then more eDiscovery, it allowed me to take the knowledge of how litigation works and make it work with technology. It was just a smooth transition. And had I been working 80 hours a week for the past, what's that, almost 25 years, pushing a dolly around, I don't think I'd still be in this industry. So being allowed to move to more of, hey, let the computers and the experts do the heavy lifting, as opposed to me lifting boxes and pushing a dolly around the city at 90 degrees with a suit on. I'll take what I do today.